That's good to know. On the short-term rental regulations, if anybody wants to speak, you can, you've got this moment, you've got the public comment moment and public comment at the end. And since it's our intention, I believe, to leave the public hearing open right through the spring into early summer possibly. We want to make sure we get this right. We want to make sure everybody gets a chance to be heard on this. It's not an easy issue. And there's many different opinions that have already been stated on this. So if anybody has anything they'd like to say on the short-term rental regulations, cool. Now is a good time. And we've already received quite a few correspondence, I believe.
Have we?
Yep, Joe Spilka sent quite a few in. There's still time to talk about it. Minutes review. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes as attached to the agenda? The January 10th town board and organizational meeting and the February 8th public hearing on the 911 communications law. Yep. These are the clerk's minutes. Does anybody have any requests for additions, deletions, corrections of the clerk?
I guess I would just like to add, if I just want to say that under the highway raise thing, I would like it that I did not have a problem with the highway department getting a raise. I was just asking a question in regards to the procedures and so on, but I'm very glad that employee was able to stay on, and I have no problem with the people at the highway department getting whatever they may have gotten. So I just, if you could note that, Bonnie, because I don't want any confusion there. I have no problem with that.
Just a question on process as opposed to the pay itself.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions? These are the clerk's minutes, and I'm sure she will be updating them to post online. Public comment, first public comment of the night. One thing I didn't put down in here, there was correspondence, emails from a couple of people that are in attendance tonight after having reached out to the Department of Transportation about parking lines. So I don't know if you wanted to say anything for the record here.
Yeah, I did call Rick Zeller on the 20th of January and told him, the situation that people aren't necessarily make it easy for more cars, just closest place. And so, yeah, it'd be great to have lines to designate the parking spots, much like they do in Boonville. And the other thing, obviously, over at the Woods End, that's, like I said, that's an accident waiting to happen. And anybody in trucks, or even like if I've got the van on the trailer, I can barely see to get out, and you have to pull, if I'm pulling out to the right, you have to pull way out into the opposite lane in order to go to the right, because the car is parked so close. I know that I've had tractor trailer loads of boats coming, and they've been stuck in the driveway, not able to get out because it is just so close to the edge. So what he said was, obviously nothing would happen until spring. He was going to consult with whomever, and I'm sure we'll have to make another phone call and just see where things stand once we get to spring. But the more people that maybe make those comments, the better.
And I thank you, and Julie also, I think, commented on it. I've said repeatedly from here, Sean asking, myself asking, anybody in government asking, we kind of almost get short shrift. But the squeaky wheels in the public, the responses you guys got were new responses that I hadn't seen before. That what was the one that was might take up too much room?
Yeah, I'm rereading it now. I don't think he understood exactly what I was saying, because he said that, about pulling out of driveways, which I did mention, but that wasn't the only place that I had thought it might be pertinent to have some parking lines. And that's the only thing he addressed, was pulling out. If
they would only allow for one spot where in reality, 2 cars could have fit, but. So I think we're gonna get farther with the person that Connie's been talking to.
Right.
So Sean mentioned there was another name too that I don't have written down here, but that Rick is.
Yeah, and I'm happy to make a call as if
But no,
Connie hasn't said anything and, or,
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
definitely give Rick a call.
Yeah.
Because I definitely agree. I'm of mixed emotions on the lines for parking. Because, you know, you put them down and as we all know, signage doesn't always work for everybody. Lines don't always work, but I think we have some, right now, some too many lines in town at the crosswalks. I think those delineators that mark that are
Yeah,
almost
it's
too
a nice-
far out.
It's a nice parking spot there. The one in front of Ace, I like it. The one that they made just for me with the hash marks.
If they shorten those down by half,
Spot. Nobody else parks there, you know, I mean, it's nice.
but I've seen, I can't tell you how many times I've seen just even, you know, cars trying to get in and out of the woods end. And I'm not advocating that because my brother owns the woods end. Is anybody in the room probably attest? My brother and I don't always see eye to eye on everything. But public safety is a public safety situation.
You know, and like I said, I go to the dentist over in Boonville and. Makes sense, you know, to designate those spots because you can get the maximum number of people, of cars parked, there, as opposed to somebody taking up. Space and a half or 2 spaces,
like in front of the post office.
yes,
That would,
yeah.
that would, I've even caught myself parking like dead center. Like, if I had pulled forward like 10 feet,
Yeah,
another car could have come. Like, yeah, so I'm guilty of it. It's.
That's okay, I didn't mind the walk.
One place I think it would actually work where I don't think people realize that they can park until 10 other people have parked there is on the South Shore Road. If we did the lines, you know, literally going over the bridge all the way up.
All the way up on that side.
Showing it, but we're encouraging. it.
Because then that would, oh, I can park here, you know, so. But that's an easier fix than Route 28, but keep up the good work, please. Anything else for public comment?
I'd just like to say in the County Express in 1975, at these meetings at this time of the year, the town board was discussing as to whether to spend $90,000 and build the town hall. In 1975. I thought that was interesting. Just a blast from the past.
Yeah,
75.
75.
75.
You know, the meetings were still being held in the fire hall, which is now the library. 75, and they wanted to know if people wanted to spend 90,000 to build this building, original building. Thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it's-
I wonder what they said. Oh, sorry.
I'm sure some of the things that were said,
They've tabled it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear some of it.
yeah, I can too.
Anything else for public comment?
Well, I'll just give you an update on, the whole inlet area community task force. You weren't here the last time, but we've got 6 grow towers going over there, plus we've got your, very kind donation going well. We've had a little problem with aphids from time to time, but, they're under control for the time being and, you know, starting some more, lettuce and that sort of thing. The farm stand is doing great. She does better here than she does in Vicar.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so people are coming from Racket Lake and, you know, Moldford, so that's going really well. We had our strategy meeting, and so the things we identified is certainly the garden because of the, situation with our food desert, so to speak. And we also, have, the climate smart communities thing, and we really would like, you know, Adele and Amy have been awesome. We need somebody else to, you know, maybe from the board, I know we talked about this originally, but to be a little bit more connected with us. We are looking at the housing situation, affordable housing as a priority and looking at health and wellness. And I did call, I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago, there was an article in the paper about the mental health provider that's to the town of Webb. He's at the school. And so I made 2 phone calls to see, okay, could somebody from Inlet, not a student, they said that would be open to adults as well. Could they access this person for a mental health issue? Because I know that need is here as well. And So I didn't get any response, and we'll have to talk to the supervisor. So finally, on the third call, they said, yes, we can provide mental health care. However, I did mention that we have an older population, and they said, well, we can't take Medicare. Which is unfortunate, and it has something to do with her license. You know, it didn't make sense to me, but anyway, at least there was something. But that's an area that, you know, another area that we identified with health and wellness. Not having a lot of medical care here, and mental health is an issue, for sure. And it's pretty hard to reach.
Yeah.
In this area. So, we are planning on having on, March 15th, another presentation on, you know, different kinds of heating, mini splits and geothermal and the, you know, the air exchange systems. And we're hoping, I'm working on trying to get somebody to do a little presentation on solar. So we'd love for the school to have some solar panels as an example of what could happen. So we'll see what happens, but, I guess because of the shape of the school roof, it could be a little challenging, but there's also the standalone type. So we'll see what happens. We think that would be a really great thing, using that building as a community space and then being able to, you know, provide some sort that's got a perfect solar
Window.
exposure.
I just hope that the pricing on some of the stuff and where some of this comes from has changed. I mean, Tim and I looked at a couple of years ago up at the
Yeah.
landfill of doing
Yeah.
something, and boy, after the guy got done doing the study, it was gonna cost us twice as much for electricity.
Right. There
Yeah.
was nothing left after like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was nothing.
And of course, when you compare it now to what other heating, you know, fuels cost. And there's all kinds of different rebates on those kind of things, so, and there's also federal ones now, so that's one of the things I'm really trying to find, somebody that can do the presentation on solar as well, to come and talk to us about that, so I've contacted about 4 different, people to see if anybody would be willing to do the presentation with us, so hopefully I'll know by early next month.
I had been hoping that the roofing that Musk was trying to come out with a few years ago, the tiles, you know, to replace the roof. The back roof on this town hall would be perfect for it, but they'd have to give them to us, basically. There's no way we could justify the spend that would be there. But who knows, maybe this stuff is changing. Don't know if you don't ask.
Right, exactly.
So, thank you.
So I think the electric vehicle chargers are working. still?
Yes,
Ah.
they are working, yep, so we're trying to get Chris, because they took a picture, in Old Forge, of their, particular charger, and so I was trying to get Chris to come, or maybe the whole school board to come and get a photo, but I haven't heard a response to that yet.
Does anybody know, has anybody found them yet?
Yeah, actually, somebody had used one already.
Awesome,
Yeah.
because once they go live, they're out there.
Yeah, and apparently, you know, that was kind of for publicity, but apparently people that have electric vehicles have some sort of app that tells them where the next one, the next one, the next one. So it's pretty much all up the corridor, so that's good.
Great.
And it's-
Very good. Anything else for public comment? All right, communications. As I don't know if everybody was aware, if they didn't see the public comment or the public postings or whatever, at the February 8th, we held a public hearing on a communications 911 law passed to make sure that all calls starting in the town of Inlet to a 911 call center.
Second, I think it was.
Did I say the 8th?
You said the 8th, it was the second, I believe. No, so I'm not trying to cut
It
you, off,
is.
sorry.
Nope, change that on the agenda there, then where it says the 8th. I don't know where it came up with the 8th on that. Anyways, all right, we met, we read the law, we opened the public comment period. It had been duly advertised. Basically, in a nutshell, it doesn't matter if it's a landline, a cell phone, a Wi-Fi call, any call to a 911 call center needs to be directed to the Herkimer PSAB. And the law even went as far as say that at such a time that if the Hamilton County PSAB becomes something that we would like to use, we may go to it. We reserve the right not to at this point in time. And we put a penalty phase in there for any providers that do not point us in the right direction of $500 per call. We do not want anybody to be the guinea pig for the call to go in the right direction. The information didn't follow the phone call and somebody perishes or passes away. And when the 2 new towers go live, the bleed through over into the town of Webb and Herkimer County is going to be monumental. It will become a nightmare, not just for us, but for anybody trying to make a call from forth. Like it already is happening with a Verizon tower, but it'll be even worse with AT&T and Verizon. I believe Mr. Hudson has sent off the copies of the law to Verizon, and supposedly Verizon's contractor is working on getting that switched. I plan on sending copies of the law to Tarpon Towers, who is the contractor that is putting up the AT&T and the T-Mobile towers, so that they start on the right path as opposed to be going down the wrong way. And quite honestly, one of the reasons we called it all 911 calls, who knows what's going to happen with Frontier Communications in the next 4 to 5 years. I mean, it's painfully obvious to people that sometimes they're not quickest. They're in bankruptcy court here, there, wherever. Somebody new could come in tomorrow and throw the switch and point our calls in the wrong direction again. So,
Because they're all digital now too.
Yep.
It's not the old phone that it used to be.
Nope.
That was on a little wire. It's all digital. Everything's, I mean, it's still a wire, but it's digital. They work the same way. I always used to make the argument that would keep that phone because it would always work. Correct, whatever.
Frontier doesn't do that now.
They're using digital lines just like
Okay.
everybody else. And they're out freaking half the time too.
all right, and also the contractor CNS Engineering is advertising for bids for the tower equipment, for the shelter, for some other things. Our attorney, or actually the engineers asked Bonnie to place an ad in the Express for the local. I believe the engineers are going to be placing an ad in the Observer Dispatch in Utica, and they're also going to be posting it online and at the county's vision sites. So hopefully we're moving forward and we'll get some equipment in place. Planning board, still talking about the short-term rental regulations. Anybody here from the planning board? So have you guys received any comments or written comments?
No, just the ones that have gone to Bonnie.
Okay. All right, again, the public hearing is still open. We want to get this right before it's adopted.
Out of curiosity, the ones that have been mailed into you guys or emailed, are they available for public
I was just
to
gonna,
view?
I was just gonna ask if I should post them.
If, yes, they should be. So we should probably build a little page and start posting them there. Yep. And maybe that'll spur on more people to do it. Thank you. All right, assessor codes, parks, building, are all attached, but we're also lucky enough to have everybody in the room. Does anybody? Let's see, assessor codes is first. Got anything you want to update us on or point out, or?
What I had in my.
Her car.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about the car. Amy came to me and was looking to see if she could get a vehicle. We happen to have a vehicle that we haven't done anything with. The police department's using it as an extra vehicle to go back and forth to school or, take home car for whenever they need it or whatever. And I talked to Andrew, I've talked to Ron. They're both receptive to working out something where we would keep the car, that we would take the lettering off the side of it. We would take the lights off the top, make it like a take-home car. So if they were going to use it for training or whatever, and then we could share it with codes and they could use it. They'd leave it here at the town hall. They could use it when they needed to, and police could use it when they needed to.
Like a sign out deal.
You kind of, yeah,
Sort of.
yeah, and there might be a little bit of. Two people need the car at once, but it's an extra car for the police department, so.
Right.
We really, codes could use it if they need it, and like I was telling Amy today, if Andrew needs the car at night, he's gotta come down and grab the car and he takes it. they're not gonna be using it at night. So it'll give the car more use than just the codes
We
department
did run into trouble with that before.
that it didn't get a lot of use. So it's sounding like it's all coming together. I still gotta work out a couple of little nicks, but if everybody's interested in doing that, I think it's a smart plan. I talked to John about the car's worth, we figure like 20 grand, but if we sell the car, then we gotta buy a 4-wheel drive, because places Amy goes, you can't get there unless you got a 4-wheel drive. And you're gonna be right in the back of the same boat. You sold the vehicle and then you're gonna try to buy another vehicle.
Replace
I don't
it.
think you're gonna be any farther ahead. Yeah, I think you're better off just keeping what you got, you know what you got.
Right, because it hasn't been problematic, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it, and it doesn't have a lot of miles on it.
Right.
So,
Sounds like you-
The big issues are to keep an eye on the brakes and stuff like that. If it's not getting a lot of use and it's been sitting for a while. So, before something becomes a big issue, trying.
I think it needs to get run, and right now. I don't think it's getting run at all, or very little, so I think this will help that situation. By getting it out there, so.
And when we got the new patrol car in, our intention at that point in time, we had been in early discussions, I believe, with Town of Webb and the school in Old Forge for a safety officer to provide a vehicle. We were willing to sell it to them at a discount. And they were gonna put a patrolman in it. Somehow, some way, they answered that situation down below.
Differently,
Different.
car out there now.
So I believe Trevor Torme is now the safety officer and the town of Webb has provided him with a police vehicle. It used to be really neat when Andrew Khalil was our safety officer down there. And he had the donated truck that said Town of Inlet on it.
Yes.
I just loved having a Town of Inlet truck parked out in front of the school every day. It made my heart happy. If we can make this work out, it's the vehicle's paid for.
Yes,
So it's
yeah, and it's already insured, and it's already, so there's really no more expense. Other than your upkeep and maintenance, and I think it's a good move all the way around. Amy, I think she put in here, but she was telling me that, and you're going down Stock Lane and you're going down some of these driveway stuff, it's doing things to her vehicle she doesn't like.
and now she'll have John to blame if something happens.
That's right,
So
all right, so I don't know.
I don't think we even need to do a due to from transfer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
It's
we keep
general
working
to
on getting
general.
that squared away. How about that?
Okay.
That works. All right.
Anything else, Amy? You want to brag on your codes guy?
He's done excellent. He's finishing his last course this week, takes his test next week, and he'll be certified probably next Thursday.
Congratulations in advance.
Me.
What's that?
Me.
Oh,
No, I'm already settled.
Very good. All right, we'll keep going this way then. Mike, you're it.
Just keeping up with the crazy weather. We've had excellent ski trails, great hockey rink right now. Really neither. Closed the rink today because it's wet. We're hoping, we get a big cool down for right now, that it will refreeze and,
Hey, Megan.
yeah, the Mighty Loons are hoping to have their first home game on Saturday. So with that cold weather, we're hoping to sneak that in. Ski trails are still decent. We had a good hard base. Water crossings are open, but get a few more inches of snow again, we can probably get back out there and groom with the snowmobile. Today, the new windows started going up over at library post office area. Unfortunately, only 4 windows showed up. So the 4 will be done and we'll wait on the 5th to come in to get installed. Other than that, we've just been trying to find little projects to do and fixing things and making things look pretty.
Thank you.
Cool.
Dell, tag, you're it. If you want to point out anything written in red.
I'll mention snowmobiling. Couple things on snowmobiling. I do hope that Town of Inlet and Town of West form some kind of meeting together before the season's over
You know, at first I was saying like, oh, so the season's over, we'll get together, but I think we should be before the season's over, because once it's over, people just forget, they go away. I'm gonna be on vacation, you know, so, yeah, it should happen before the season's over, so that's before April 1st. I'm hoping.
I'll reach out to Bonnie and see if we can put something together. I'm hoping things have settled down for her. Who knows? But that's been one of my biggest stumbling blocks, other than the personal stuff I've got going on. But even if I can't make the meeting, I'm hoping somebody else could.
And my other comment about snowmobiling and parks, you know, I'm not saying snowmobiling, the only person that reached out to me was Chip right away. He thought I thought he was doing a horrible job and should go away, but no, that was not what I meant.
Got his attention though.
You know, I just think like parks and snowmobiling, you know, it makes more sense. They're working trails together. They share the same equipment. It just would make sense for that department to like be working together and prioritizing trails instead of highway and snowmobile working together, where highway prioritizes roads, which makes sense. They should go out there and plow the roads, but the trails need to be taken care of too, because that's our bread and butter. And so it just, to me, made sense to have parks.
Originally it was that way, so I.
It was.
I totally get what you're saying.
Now that we've got a separation of facilities up there too, even though they're on the same campus, they're just separate buildings. And with the interesting situations we've had trying to get highway employees. You know, I foresee in the future sometime there, if he can find employees, and again, I'm not looking to dump it on your shoulders, not by a long shot. Hopefully we could still have somebody that may reside under you that's in charge of snowmobiling, kind of the way Sean wound up with Chip under him at highway. But again, that's over here someplace.
Yeah, and like I told Chip, it's not something we're going to solve overnight, but you know, something that we should be talking about and try to work together better.
But they've got to be able to weld like Chip does.
I got you.
Okay.
I want to also mention that IADA's next meeting is at Archie's Alley on March 7th. And, you know, you do not have to be a member to come to a meeting. You don't have to run a business. You know, everybody is welcome to come to our IADA meeting as long as they have an interest in the town of Inlet area, not just Inlet, the Inlet area. So in January of 2020, we had 63 members. January 2023, we had 130 members. So, it's a good group.
Going strong.
Going strong, but we need more people to show up at meetings and more input and more. You know, we want to hear from you. We want to. That's it. And the other thing was something Robin Hill asked you to mention was the 80K small business stakeholders meeting that they've scheduled at
Northwoods,
Grapevines.
Great Pines,
It'll forever be.
Foley's.
Yeah.
How far back can I go with that?
Yeah.
Great Pines on March 2nd at 2:30. People are welcome to show up, but they're also gonna have a Zoom link available through the Living 80K website that you can log in and look at.
I think I can take that off my list now.
Yeah, and her other thing, it wasn't in my thing, but with the other housing meeting, there's a lot of discussion about the people's choice, people first, you know, Forge. Town Web has been working with people first. For many months, they had 2 public informational meetings already. There's a link on Town Web's YouTube table. You can go watch their 2 meetings that they've already had. They have 2 more meetings scheduled. The 28th, Tuesday, the 28th at View, one at 2 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock. And everyone's welcome to go listen in so that you can get correct information instead of seeing what they're posting out there on Facebook and assuming Section 8 is coming in.
That's the workforce housing issue you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anytime you start mentioning housing, the conversation goes sideways very quickly. So the true information would be the information people need to seek out. Thank you. All right. I had park separated out. They're still waiting on the groomer, no word on the tracks, I'm guessing. Yeah, and I had
Wait a
asked,
month, bring tires now, tell them.
Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Last I checked, now the tracks were supposed to be released in this month, February, but that could be March next month. I have no idea, but it's been what? Almost 6 months we've been waiting.
all right, police. Ron went to Washington. Got us good news. You got that or I got that?
Well, it doesn't matter. That's the.
Fingerprint reader.
Yeah, so we got a grant for a fingerprint reader for the police department. It's something that we haven't had and we need to years. I don't know, it's been quite a while.
It's a digital scanner, I believe.
Digital scanner, because you used to be able, you could roll the fingerprints with the, but you can't do that anymore. You can't do it for a long time. So to get it, it's a lot of money. And so we've been taking it, anytime anybody gets arrested, they have to go to Old Fort to get fingerprinted, then they have to come back. And so Ron's been looking for this for a long time, but it's a lot of money. And I don't remember the number, but I'm gonna say 30,000, but I'm not sure.
30,000, and we
Yeah.
finally wound up on the DCJS, the courts grants.
Yeah, yeah.
We finally fell low enough down or the list came down to us.
it came down to us. So we're gonna get it at no charge for us. We have to front the money and put it in, and then they'll reimburse us back for it. And that'll really put us, the police station, in the ability to be able to be used and utilized in the police station. Because you need to fingerprint everybody when you arrest them.
What about
So,
the maintenance costs? Was he struggling with that?
no, that's the other thing. Yeah, and that's
Storage for the body.
yeah, there was a body cam thing and, but that's the way it's set up right now, even if they give you the stuff, you have to store the stuff and you have to store it forever, and it's very, very, very expensive. And it's just not worth it.
We're not going there.
No, we're not going there. We're not gonna go there.
It was kind
You
of
know,
scaring me, those
It-
figures
it-
he was so-
yeah, well, I think the thing is, he talked to somebody and they told him, you know, I mean, it's one of these unfunded state mandates, where they give you the stuff and then they make you pay for the rest of your life for the other. So we're not ready for that. We're not doing that. There's a lot more research that has to be done, and there's gonna have to be money, federal money coming to cover
This is
that.
a really good deal.
This is a really good deal for the
Yeah.
fingerprint scanner. I don't see any downside.
No, because this came from the state of New York through the
Yeah.
court system. The other one is they're being supplied by the vendors for free. So they lock you into the 12,000, 14.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw some
Years
numbers
storage.
in the emails. It's just craziness. And then you have to keep the stuff forever and you have to, you know.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps going. And so he's not pushing that at all. So,
I don't want to say that we don't have the need for body cameras here because I think they're the future, but something's got to change.
something's gotta change.
Something's gotta change.
Where, you know, the state can't come along and say, you know, that you've gotta have all these regulations. It's just too much money. It's, you know, we're gonna be paying huge money for storage of a lot of like video, I'm thinking. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Maybe it only turns on when you, I don't know.
Even so,
That might be a reach, but you know.
All right, highway department, I believe. Bonnie's been given something to read.
Okay. I have it in here. I've got too much in here. Here we go. Okay. Plowed and sanded, dealt with a lot of icy conditions, cleared sidewalks, parking lots, etc. Hauled garbage and recyclables, moved snow from around town and where it stacks up to make room for more. Put new spreader chain in Mac, cleaned up shop and equipment maintenance, took grader and scraped some ice off Lime Kiln and Seventh Lake roads. Coming up, he's gonna plow and sand, haul garbage and recyclables, clear sidewalks and parking lots, scrape South Shore Road with the grader. I'm planning on changing a culvert on Parkhurst Road in May before Memorial Day, before a lot of people come up to the camp. I would probably need to close the road overnight. I'll send out a note to the property owners, letting them know that the upcoming project. Transfer station open 4 days a week from 8 to 11:45, and then again 1 to 6:45. Closed on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Closed from 12 to 1 daily. Place is clean and orderly. That's it.
Okay. Brings us up to your rental and revenue reports and any letters.
Well, I'm gonna post the letters, the emails for that, so I'll post those online. I got the exercise of the renewal option from the United States Postal Service. I guess they're just acknowledging that we're gonna renew it at the same annual rate of $9,129.
I don't know, are
Now,
we?
is that a 5? Or-
Yeah.
I don't know, are we?
5 year. Yeah, they assumed we are. It's a
They're
5
setting
year.
it.
They always said it.
Yeah, they always
They
said it.
always said it. And we have the argument every 5 years. Can we put it someplace else? Can we do something else? The parking stinks there, the this,
Yeah.
that stinks there.
Well, it's up to them to put it someplace else if they can't rent from us.
Well,
Yeah,
but if we say we're not gonna accept the rent or whatever.
right, they're gonna.
Force
But,
them, but
but I was told on the QT, and I believe the previous supervisor was told that that could possibly spur them to do something in Eagle Bay or send it up to that brand new one that sits up in Racket Lake that's underutilized. And I wouldn't put it.
Of course, then they'd have to deliver to our houses. Because it's too far away.
Then you're gonna be
Just-
mailboxes out.
I'm just saying,
parking
I'm just saying,
spaces.
you bring it to Racket Lake, it's too far away, they're gonna have to deliver to your house. So anyway,
Good luck with that one. Yeah, I know, I agree.
yeah.
Mart Allen tried fighting that battle in Thundera too, but.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's the board's pleasure on accepting a 5-year extension?
Did they raise it? Is it been the same or did they raise it a little bit or? It's the same.
Annual rate is 9,129. I don't have my phone with me.
Was it, I thought it was less than it.
9129.
You have to see the old one, in all honesty.
I know what we get for a month, so it's 9129 divided by 12.
$760.75.
It's more. We get 724.50 right now.
What is it going to?
$760, so
So they're giving you a little.
$36.
About $9 a week.
oh, silent. Yeah.
That's it.
As much as it's not the perfect location, the parking stinks there. The signs the Department of Transportation lets us put up for handicap parking stink. It's still nice having it in town. That's my feeling. I don't know what the rest of the board feels.
Leave it alone for now. I'm getting.
Yeah, where's it going?
Anybody want to make a motion to accept the 5-year extension?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
By Dan, seconded by Herb. Again, discussion. There's other things we'd like to try and clean up there, but it's nice having the post office in town. Kind of gives us that small town feel, in my opinion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.
All right, and then the last thing I received was an email from Charlie, how do you say his last name? Her. He is interested in historian. And we have never appointed a new historian. So I told him I would make the board aware that he is interested in the position of historian.
Seems pretty knowledgeable. If
Yeah,
he's
I would say
interested,
he's a
I'd sign him up.
candidate.
Perfect for it.
I think Letty would appreciate this, but now that she can't say no, can't we reappoint her?
Yeah.
Nothing against Charlie, but yeah, I think he's shown the interest. I'm not saying he's always 100% accurate, but he's pretty darn close. So he's got my vote.
We need a motion?
Yeah.
I think we need a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, and the other thing he brought up.
Do we need to vote on the motion?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Rushing things a little.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Sorry, Bonnie.
No, sorry.
I couldn't
Um,
resist.
Did the board ever act on the sign about the history of Arrowhead Park?
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, we didn't ever act on it.
No.
Any of what was going on there?
He wants a sign. Right, Adele, he wants a sign that kind of explains, yeah, Arrowhead Park and like, you know how when you go to someplace, they have those signs like.
A sign, or was it like a walking
Historic sign.
path, a bunch of signs or something like that?
He compared it to a sign like, Moss Lake has.
Mhm.
With a couple pictures of the hotels and something like that.
Mhm.
Where'd that go?
I have no idea.
I would assume in the park somewhere.
There's a sign right in front of the bathrooms right now. I'm not sure what it says.
Are you talking the metal one? That's the dedication of the property, I believe.
Oh,
I think he ideally sees it somewhere as you start to walk down, you know,
Mhm.
maybe by the tennis courts or something. Again, I don't know too much, but he did mention it, it's something to do with historical society.
Have we tried to open that view as you walk down through there?
Well, no, this is just one of those signs that.
Like a pedestal.
Yeah, like a
pedestal, I just said.
Everybody's talking like
No, no, no.
Lost Lake is like a billboard.
You know, they
Yeah,
always got
that's-
that gold leaf writing.
I think that's what he's talking about.
He did say like the sign that Moss Lake has, so that's what I envisioned.
Like a sheet of plywood size sign.
I
Yeah.
don't know why you'd want something that big. Why would you want something that
I
big?
think we need more information.
Yeah, I would
Because
say.
we've tried to open that view.
Well, so when you call him back and tell him he's now the historian, tell him to put something together and.
Okay.
Just put it on the side of the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put it on the side of a building,
We
That-
already have something there.
another building.
Got the artwork and
You could put it on the side of the fence as you walk down towards the beach, so
Well,
that
that's
you could still,
Right,
you're
right.
not blocking any view.
Yeah, yeah, I can't see putting a billboard up down there to.
See more information.
Right.
You know, I mean.
We need more information.
Yeah,
I've heard this rendering.
Okay, you're addressing this part, so that's it.
What part am I addressing?
That's
Of the
right.
Bond
Yep.
resolution, yeah. All right, seeing as how we are already using a new groomer from Mohawk Limited. We paid for part of it at the end of the meeting if the
Board.
abstract passes,
Yeah.
couldn't think of the word abstract.
Mhm.
$130,000 down payment on the groomer, by the way, 133.
133.
133. We've reached out to the Bank Green that we've used for other equipment and the highway garage to pay for the rest of it. The goal in paying the 133 down was to wind up with the same groomer payment that we've had, best one for this one for 7 years. So attached to the back here. Page 14, I believe. No, we paying 130,500 at the end of the meeting and we're getting 133. What did you put the bill in for?
133.
Okay,
I had 103. I think he's got it backwards because my note said we needed. I don't know. I'll have to look now. I'll have to look at it and see. It doesn't matter. I can change the check to 130,500 so that this remains correct.
please do.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution, and I have to read this, sorry. Resolution authorizing the issuance of up to 133,000 in serial bonds and or bond anticipation notes of the town of Inlet to pay the cost of a Trail Pro groomer. Whereas the town of Inlet wishes to purchase a Trail Pro groomer, now known as the project. Now therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Inlet, Hamilton County, New York as follows. Section 1. Purchase of a Trail Pro groomer is hereby authorized and approved. Section 2, the specific object or purpose for which obligations are authorized by this resolution, the bond resolution, are to be issued is the purchase of a Trail Pro groomer, including related preliminary and incidental cost, and such specific object or purpose is hereby authorized at a maximum estimated cost of $163,500. Section 3, the plan for the financing of such maximum estimated cost is A, use of up to 130,500 in current available town funds. B, issuance of up to 133,000 in serial bonds and or bond anticipation notes of said town hereby authorized to be issued pursuant to the local finance law. The proceeds of the bonds or bond anticipation notes may be used to reimburse expenditures paid by the town from other funds or otherwise on or after the date of adoption of this bond resolution. The town may submit application for grants and or low interest loans, and to the extent that any such monies are received, may apply such funds to the payment of principal and interest on the bonds or bond anticipation notes. Pursuant to local finance law, section 107.00 D9. A down payment from current funds is not required. Section 4, the town board anticipates that the town may pay certain capital expenditures in connection with the project prior to the receipt of the proceeds of the bonds. The town board hereby declares its official intent to use bond proceeds to reimburse the town for such project expenditures occurring within 60 days prior to adoption of this resolution. This section of the resolution is adopted solely for the purpose of establishing compliance with the requirements of section 1.15-2 of the Treasury regulations and does not bind the town to make any expenditures, incur any indebtedness, or proceed with the acquisition, construction, and installation of the project. Section 5, it is hereby determined that the period of probable usefulness of the specific object or purpose is 15 years pursuant to section 11.00A28 of the local finance law. It is hereby further determined that the maximum maturity of the serial bonds herein authorized will exceed 5 years. Section 6, the faith and credit of the town of Inlet, Hamilton County, New York are hereby irrevocably pledged for the payment of the principal and interest on such obligations as they become due and payable. An annual appropriation shall be made in each year sufficient to pay the principal and of interest on such obligations becoming due and payable in such years. There shall annually be levied on all taxable and real property in the town of Inlet a tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on such obligations as they become due and payable. Section 7, for the purpose of paying the cost of the project, there are hereby authorized to be issued serial bonds of the town up to a maximum amount of $133,000, the maximum maturity of which shall not exceed the 15 years of probable usefulness set forth above, and which shall mature on or before such date as measured from the date of the bonds or from the date of the first bond anticipation note issued in anticipation of the sale of such bonds, whichever date is earlier. The bonds may be issued in the form of statutory installment bond. And there's another page.
Isn't all right, that you want to read on?
I think we got the gist of it. Is everybody okay with the gist of it?
Yeah.
I'll get back to the bottom and I'll pick up with section 21. This resolution or a summary hereof shall be published in the Adirondack Express, which has been designated as the official newspaper of the town, together with the notice of the town clerk in substantially the form provided in section 81.00 of the local finance law. Section 22, this resolution shall take effect immediately, except as provided by town law article 7 relating to permissive referendum requirements. Section 23, the question of the adoption of this resolution was duly put to a vote on roll call, which resulted as follows. Before we do the roll call, just let me explain the permissive referendum process. We've done this many times. This starts a 30-day time clock for which people are allowed to bring us a petition to call a vote against doing this. It has to be a certain percentage of the populace of the town of Inlet, per the tax rules, I believe. And even following that, there can be an estoppel notice of up to 30 days. So the bond won't actually take effect until 60 days from today. But the permissive referendum for a petition against starts after adoption of this. I will instruct the clerk to call the vote.
Councilman Brownsell.
Aye.
Councilman Schmidt,
Aye.
Supervisor Fry,
Aye.
Councilman Levy,
Aye.
and Councilman Townsend.
Aye.
Unanimous vote. And this had to pass by a majority of 4 out of the 5. I believe we've hit that level. You are required now to follow the other recommendations that he had. Wish this wasn't just water, and it is if anybody wants to try it. Next. My pleasure to ask the board to consider appointing Brittany Bartolotti as our new town court clerk.
Get my motion or anything.
Somebody's got to make a motion.
I'll offer it.
I'll second it.
discussion? I want to thank Brittany for considering to take this on and hoping for a smooth transition. Hopefully it won't take too much time out of the information office because they're going to know where to find Brittany. We've had that in the past and that has worked out well. Mary used to close her blind a little bit tighter down in the office, but she was still here if they needed to get a hold of her. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Welcome aboard, Brittany, to your new task. I've been requested by more than one to reschedule the April town board meeting, and we want to put notice out in advance. I believe our meeting in April conflicts with the school calendar, and quite a few people couldn't be here. So we want to move it to the 18th of April, and quite honestly, that puts us past that 60-day time period we just mentioned. So it'll be a little bit cleaner to pay the bill on the groomer, take care of some other business along those lines. Would somebody like to make a motion to reschedule April's meeting to the 18th?
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion?
What's the conflict now?
The school calendar, vacation,
2
and
weeks off, everybody's gone.
Spring break, I should call it.
yeah, to the 18th, the third. Did I get the wrong date?
Oh, no, it's the 18th. It's a Tuesday. It's tax day, actually.
April.
Oh, I'm sorry.
April.
March, I'm like-
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're doing this way in advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wouldn't be past me to put that on the wrong day, though. Did we vote on it?
Aye.
Yes.
No
Opposed?
discussion.
Carried. Dog control. Our dog control officer is now lapsed. And I believe the dog control officer that's doing it for Old Forge right now is willing to do it. But we don't have anything in place where we're allowed to use any of Old Forge's equipment, but he's willing to do it on his own. I'd like to have permission to engage the dog control officer from Old Forge. It's going to be on a per call basis. I'm going to have to come back to you at next month's meeting with how much that's going to cost. But I'd at least like to extend the olive branch. I don't see us having a great need for it, but when we do have the need
Yeah. well,
and or the state of New York slaps us on the wrist if we don't actually have.
Yeah, no, we gotta have one. You're probably right in doing it. If we could do it in a per diem thing. Probably gonna be fine with where we're budgeted.
Yep.
And probably make out better than we were if we just, so yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Maybe just do it as a private individual.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've had an issue with the transfer of property up on the Townsend property that is now owned by Jeremiah Best. Jeremiah? Yes, Jeremiah Best. There have been many issues with trying to get this closed at the county level. During COVID, I delivered the deeds late, so they wouldn't take them by 3 days. When they did get there on a timely basis, they recorded them with the wrong spelling of the name Townsend. Long and the short of it right now, we don't own what we thought we were gonna own when we transferred the property. Mr. Best is willing to help clean it all up. We're gonna have to engage a new attorney to help with this. Because Tim Schofield had been handling it for the Townsend family, and we had agreed to share that expense. One party was going to pay for the lawyer, one party was going to pay for the survey. That's still a muddled situation. Somebody's going to have to file a quick claim deed in order to clean this up. We were supposed to get land off to the side that could be used for a trail coming off of the Townsend Trail itself. And the best we're supposed to get from Townsend where the gazebo used to sit, pretty much, I'm guessing.
Was in charge of your family's
Oh,
estate there?
That's Don.
I mean, so he's notified.
Don has been notified. Don and Jeremiah have been talking back and forth. You think something's done and it's not done. No good deed goes unpunished. Trying to clean up a long-standing situation with property. Just trying to get the T's crossed and the I's dotted. We're gonna have to reach out to a new attorney, probably from Shackner and Hafner to get that done. That's all I have. Does anybody have anything else?
Does that deal with the FFI money? You need a motion for that or whatever, explain about that, or the money for the fire department you're gonna give me?
It's in the bills.
It's in
I
the
put it in
bills. Remember, is it coming to you now?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
but we've got it, you don't, so we're gonna throw a party for ourselves.
yeah, right.
The state sent us money they were supposed to send the highway department, which is ridiculous. It's already in the
Fire
abstract.
department.
Fire department.
Fire department.
Right. Yeah, you told me,
I'm trying to keep it in the town.
you said that we needed a motion. I was just wondering if we really did need a motion, or you were just saying.
If you want to back it up with a motion, yeah, by making a motion to pay the bills and it's included in the bills, it's already covered.
Perfect.
Right.
I'm good with it.
And that'll be another one for Bonnie to explain to the comptroller and the due to from. That's my catchphrase for the year now. I don't have anything for executive session. Does anybody have anything from public comment from the public? Anybody want to read page 2 of the resolution?
Yeah, 2 and 3, please. Just read them all.
Again, Peter? A dog control officer, and it has to be somebody recognized by New York State.
You have to get a license. Are you interested?
Are you looking?
Has no interest when she was first asked about it. And again, when Lynn Sisson did it, the state oversight and Lynn and Iris ran a clean facility. They made their life very interesting. You're trying to do the right thing and you pick up a dog that doesn't have tags. It becomes a nightmare. I know Tony Sagi, who we've been using the past couple of years, if there was a fence clip that wasn't on right, they made his life rather interesting, and Tony had been very nice to us, and
Yeah.
and it had worked out really well. I believe the one that is leaving has no desire to do it anymore, so we're lucky that Webb actually has somebody that we can go on with. Anything else?
Just on that, was there a conversation about the pay for, she was paid ahead or something, a couple of meetings ago?
Yeah, but at the end of the year, it was done.
Was that?
At the end of the year, she was done. I mean, she got paid for the year, so in January, she was done though.
We did it as,
Completed her term.
we did it as a contract. We,
Mhm.
and her contract was for last year, so it ended.
It actually extended through January somehow. But yeah, and we kind of held her feet to the fire because we paid her.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I thought.
All right, motion to pay highway,
I'll move that.
Second.
discussion? Any questions on any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Motion to pay general and sewer.
Offered.
I'll second it.
Any questions on those? So we can't keep that other money? That's a,
He's persistent.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. That's it, folks. Our next meeting is 28 days from now, the 14th. Thanks for coming. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Places are still open to eat.
Yeah.
All right.